I'm trimming out some placket bits here. So editing corn, while I do this, can you quickly roll the intro and we'll get to it? Thanks, buddy. I have this pattern that I work with, and it's almost right, but I feel like there's a little bit of wonkiness going on. So I want to iron out the little foibles before I make the real deal. So then I fold this all in and around like so. Press it all open real nice. First, I flip over my seam allowance and press that down, just about 1/4 of an inch. And then I'm supposed to fold this over like so. Now run a quick stitch along the edge. Now from here, I'm supposed to open this up like so, and then fold this over to here. And see, this is the problem, is that I always end up with this gap here. Like this is supposed to be over top here like that. So I'm going to try it again. I've got another piece here. And instead of having my cut line on this side, I'm going to move it over to the other side, and then let's see what happens. So draw my sewing lines, put my cutting line there. All right, so first up here, iron the fold for the seam allowance on the under bit of the placket, and then fold this over. So that covers most of the opening, and then this folds over like that. It's supposed to cover there. I can trim off some of this. There's extra seam allowance there. Okay, so now from here, make sure everything's lying flat. There we go. All right, so that does cover everything. And now finally stitch this placket all down. Now there's definitely a functional placket. However, it's right up against the edge there. You can see the fabric is there, and that's because I still have a little bit of a gap here of about 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to try this one more time. I'm going to once again move over my cutting line to this side, but then rather than having 1/2 inch on one side and 1/4 on the other side, I'm just going to keep it to 1/4 inches on either side. Boom, I got my placket sorted. And looking on the other side, a 0 gap here perfectly lines up. The only thing left to do is, because I made the hole that I cut out 1/4 inch smaller, I also got to take out 1/4 inch here, so that way the overlap isn't quite that much. But I can do that in the final version. Moving on to the sleeves and trimming out the main pattern pieces first. A whole bunch of pieces for the cuffs. Remember how I made this hole 1/4 inch thinner? Well, I'm going to remove that extra 1/4 inch from the side here. So fold that down. And now finally some interfacing. I want to iron down my interfacing first. And because I took that 1/4 inch off the side, I'm also going to move the hole over by 1/4 of an inch. So put my marking there and there. All right, now the real deal. I'm actually sewing my placket onto the sleeve. Trim down the middle. Okay, so far so good. It's all look, woo! Oh, that's hot. I'm always gonna do that, aren't I? And then this folds back over like so. Oh, that's looking good. Oh, and it's lining up nicely underneath too. Woo! All right. I got it right. Finally dialed it in. I'm now attaching the sleeves onto the body of the shirt. A little bit of top stitching as well. Things are starting to come together now. I'm doing the side seams. I can finish off my sleeves now by doing the cuffs. First, bit of interfacing. Of course, then now I attach this cuff onto the actual thing. Oh, now my needle, my thread came out. I'm falling apart here. My thread came out of the needle. All right, hold on, let's get that back in there. I'm gonna leave the rest for the morning. My best work is behind me. You know, it's amazing what a good night's sleep will do to revive one's spirit. I'm working on the bottom hem now, and I'm adding a little curve upwards towards the hip. Repeat this curve along through the back as well. On the side of the hem here, I'm doing a little notch in like this. I find it just helps to make for a cleaner edge when I sew, because otherwise it comes together at a joint like this, and then the fabric has to stretch over and pull like that, and it looks nice having a little notch at the bottom. Finally, buttonholes. Whole lot of buttonholes. I cut myself on my ruler. That's what this is. All right, where's that buttonhole? There we go. Both of the shirts are done, and let me take a minute to appreciate my handiwork here. Now, full disclosure, these shirts aren't 100% perfect. Shocker, I know. But the tips on the collars, they're okay on the shirt that I'm wearing here, but then on this first one, they're considerably rounded. Also, on the edges of the bands of the collar, not quite as clean as I would like either. As for the cuffs, again, some of them are nicely squared up, but then there's others that are a little bit wonky. And also, I think I may have gone a little bit tight on the band, so maybe just move the button, but we'll see with time about that one. I also got to figure out how to line up my stitching for the collar stay pockets. They're a little bit off, and along the bottom, because it's curved like this, I was pulling on the fabric so that way it would sit flat when I sew, but that's created a bit of waviness, which is not ideal, but I do tuck these shirts in. And these are all very small things considering everything that went right with these shirts. Like the collar, if I button it up, oh, like a glove, I tell you. Not too tight, not too loose. I like the cleanness of not having any stitch along the front here. Sits beautifully. And just the fit over all of these shirts, I'm telling you. The torso, nice. The sleeves as well. They're each unique for each arm. These shirts, they were considerably more work to make than I had anticipated. But I really think it's worth it because they are classic items that I can wear with just about anything. I mean, I can dress them up if I want. You know, wedding season is a legitimate thing in my life these days. So, I'm ready. All right, better practice the shoulder shuffle though for that dance floor. Maybe I can dress them down. Oh, it's a destination beach wedding. Yeah, not a problem. I'll be there. Cool. When can't you wear a classic white buttoned-up shirt? Huh? Yay me.